Well, I waited as long as I could to come out with another video, a follow-up to all the events and stuff that have been happening around. Hello, everybody, ladies and gentlemen, Mudahar, Hassan, yeah, whatever. Wow. So that story with the two young ladies, the two young teenagers, being stalked in Scotland by the migrant, whatever. Migrants. So the migrants are actually apparently Romanian gypsies and stuff, and they literally attacked her. They kicked this girl in the head. She suffered a concussion from it. She was released from the hospital. Like the reason why they have the knives and the hatchet was a very damn good reason. And it's one of those things that make you realize that I might just say things like, "Oh, the contempt of the government," or the police against its people, and like people are will like people listening to this channel will take it as some crazy ramblings or like my own personal beliefs, but no, it's not. No, it's not. No, it is not. So, what's this video all about? Well, recently in Indonesia, there was whisperings of an uprising. The government has been shaving too much of that cream off the top. Too much. Too much. And the citizens, they aren't having it anymore. They want a working wage. They want a livable salary. They want to not be oppressed. And like I said previously, I do not like whenever I see the Lucky Charm symbol of like any Islamic like regime, I do not see a free country, or I just assume like off the bat that it's a despot. Okay? And here's your proof. So I got it wrong. It isn't Malaysia, it's Indonesia. Indonesia is the country with the largest Muslim population on this planet. Basically like a quarter million. I mean, sorry, billion. Quarter billion. A quarter of a billion people, Muslims, are living in Indonesia right now. And why is that important? Well, I was watching this video by your boy, the former champion of Twitch, now the champion of the world, Asmon Gold. I was watching his take on it, and yeah, it's crazy how, like, despite all the shit that he's been put through and like some of the stuff that he's been posting, I think he's kind of he's getting into his like Texas roots. He's getting like and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying, like, I know it's like there's a shift in his demeanor. Maybe it's just me. And despite all that, he's remained really moderate on this topic. He hasn't brought up like he's not making fun of it. He's not like trying to downplay the seriousness of the situation. He shows genuine concern. Genuine concern. Hassan, the fucking wannabe, leftist crew, take notes. Like you can actually be concerned about things instead of like pretending to be, because someone is going to kill you or something. Like something that you use to incite hysteria so people can watch your stupid ass channel. See, people genuinely want to watch people's channel who talk, like people who talk about things from a neutral perspective rather than this slant. Unless they're your chat members, then we all know who they are. And yeah, it's a very serious topic. So why is it so serious? Because Indonesia and like a lot of these countries around the world, Islamic republics, despots, are hyper conservative, meaning their women have to cloth up, cover up. Oftentimes, that means they also cannot operate a motor vehicle. I don't think that's the case in Indonesia, but I'm just saying, right? And like classically, they aren't seen as like people who go out and do work. They are stay at home, take care of the house, kids, etc. And it's very normal for them. In fact, that is very much the case in Indonesia because, as Asmon Gold pointed out, yes, all these protesters happen to be overwhelmingly guys. And now, me being the racist asshole that I am, and I think like a lot of people would probably make the same like pass at them, because it's like you see the Muslims like how do we have two completely different types of Muslims? You know what I mean? We have fucking retard, like actual like fucking retard Muslims, like literal retards, right? They want to start wars that they themselves start. They're creating problems out of nothing. Nobody understands them. Nobody listens to them, even though everyone's always listening to them and always trying to understand them. And it's just like they could never be happy. And then you have these guys that like, dog, I can't afford to pay my bills. I can't afford to take care of my kids. And like what really set this protest off was a delivery bike rider. So not even a guy who drives it. Maybe it was a motorbike, actually, a moped. But like a delivery driver, 22-year-old, got run over by police forces, and now like the protest turned into a full-blown riot, and the entire country is facing martial law. They I think recently they banned TikTok. hmm They banned that TikTok. I wish I went on the TikTok more. It's like I get it. It's like girls are hot and sexy, but like the other stuff on TikTok, it just misses me, because I feel as if um much like looking at those dumbass posts on Twitter, or like back in the day when YouTube had like all these AMVs, like, oh, look up Dragon Ball Z. I'm like, all right, I want to see this fight scene, and it's just like another fucking AMV, anime music video. God damn it. And they just kept doing it over and over. I get it, because like you know Toei or whatever, the animation studio would call in and be like, yo, this is copyright infringement. But it's like, yo, fuck that. I want my Dragon Ball Z fix. But like, for real, right? Like, it's like one of those things where you want something, but you don't get what you want. And very much so in Indonesia, you're not gonna get what you want. These protests, they have a right. They have a right to protest. These people have a right to shake their government down, end their corruption. Like these guys who are getting paid too much, are basically oppressing their people. But this isn't uncommon. In fact, this is normal. Like people will complain about, the the vocal majority in Indonesia complaining about this, but they won't give a fuck about the minority of like, imported, immigrants and all that shit in Dubai and all these other places that are basically even worse off, and they have no way of getting out, and they're just like indentured slavery, I believe that's what it's called. So, what is the end result of these measures? Because Malaysia and Indonesia are pretty close to each other, and they're pretty much, I wouldn't say like, yeah, they're pretty much like 40 to 60% of the Islamic world right now, as we're speaking, right? Because it's like we could talk about the Middle East, we could talk about all these other places that oh, Bosnia or this or that have Muslims, but they don't have the numbers, dude. When you're talking about like a fucking 250,000 goddamn people, holy fuck! I'm sorry, billion, 250,000,000. So 242 million people. That much, yeah. That like it doesn't even come close. So we have to address the elephant in the room, right? When these Muslim, Sikh, Islamic origin migrants come into countries and they share the very um, despised quality of sexually assaulting women, children, etc., right? We have to understand that there is an origin point to this, that this was a willful action done by the religion, done by the government, done by the leadership, to create havoc, if you will. So, in the case of the Arab Spring, right? These governments were getting challenged by their populations, so their sovereignty was to come to an end, if I am reading the situation correctly. And if that were to be the case, how else would you alleviate that outside of creating, a false premise that, there's like a war going on or like, this and that, and then these people who were in jail or in asylums or whatever were let out and create this hysteria that people are now afraid of the very citizens that turned against their government. So like understanding like the sad truth, mans be bitches. Like I call Sikhs bitches, but like, and they are, but also men as a whole are more like bitches than girls could ever be, especially nowadays. Like if you've like ever, well, I've mostly hung out with guys most of my life, but like done business with and just been around guys a lot. Like you'll notice that men are really effeminate, catty, like not worthy of existence. And to make matters worse, um, there's a war going on that honestly did not know about. Like I kind of knew, like there was a problem that people had imposed to other people, specifically those who are, physically and mentally, lacking in certain departments. And as I got older, I began to realize that it wasn't necessarily um, a war that we were fighting or, women were fighting alone. It was a war that we all fought, but only a certain subset group of us adhered to the understanding of what this war meant. And what I mean by that is we're at war with the decaying human genome, like the weak, the vagrant, uh, the inbred, the rapists, the pedophiles, etc., etc. And we're winning. Sadly, we're winning. Why do I say sadly? Well, let me explain. So, we as men have to accept the fact that we'll never be good enough to be women. We have to. Because the same way ants are made, like they're actually female, like the way that their biology is, the worker ants and all that stuff, but the male ants are drones and they only exist to pollinate, to fornicate with the women, the female ant queens, and then they get eaten or they just die, or both. And that's nature. That's nature. That is life. Life made manifest. Now, it's obviously going to be different species to species, but from what I could surmise from this reactionary realization is that when these men get processed in the Indonesian justice system, which is most likely like if we're talking at this like this number of people, and it's a very common thing for everybody to want a better standard of life. So it's going to be like a subset, like maybe 10, 20, 30% of the population who backs these protests, if not more. That is chaos, hell on earth. Like, if you want genuine refugees, Islamic Muslim refugees, look no further than Indonesia. I'm serious. Like, the fuck did we do bringing on all these fucking Middle Eastern retards when we could have just had the best of the best? Like, you want to, your example, your pristine, Muslim, the guy who would like, show off the religion and, well, I'm not going to be naive and pretend like you're never going to have a terrorist attack or people who are trying to influence these, refugees to like do their bidding. I'm not going to be naive and pretend like that's never going to happen. But like overall, I think like these people are a different walk of life. They're a different, cut, a different breed. Like literally, different genetics, different everything. And the unfortunate fact, see, this is why I called, the Islam and homosexual cult, is because these guys are going to get processed by the Islamic government. They're going to be left to rot in this jail system. You only have so many guards. You only have so many prisoners who can protect, their fellow prisoners, and then that's it. Anarchy, chaos, hell on earth. Lots and lots of anal raping, sex in the Indonesian prisons against people who do not, well, men who do not deserve it. They do not deserve this treatment that their government is putting them through. They do not deserve the abuse that they're going through. And yet they're going to most likely either die or come out and become the next batch, the next breed, the next, version of terrorist. Maybe they're like, they're like this raid redemption version of terrorist. Like, and they don't want to do like, crazy ass like I I think it's Palak Satwa or something like that. Some Indonesian martial art. That's so sad too because I think the Raid and the Raid 2 were some of the best, if not the best action movies, like fighting action movies to have ever existed. Just the way they were shot, like the attention to detail, the way like the fight scenes look so brutal and stuff. Sucks. Sucks, man. Because it's like of all countries for it to happen to, like I like to laugh at Pakistan and Punjab and like, whatever by extension, India and all these other places and like whatever, right? They like to like, style on me, make fun of Trinidad, throw Trinidad under the train, under the bus, whatever, just for laughs and shit. But at the end of the day, like human beings are human beings, and like the loss of life and the suffering and like the unnecessary nature that surrounds it is what makes this so tragic. Because this is how it happens. This is how it starts. Like it's no accident how you have these guys who dress up these young boys as women and rape them in the ass and stuff. It's not by accident that that happens. It was a deliberate desire of the cult to create this kind of insanity, this kind of mania, where men have become literally this desperate, this mentally unstable, and they don't understand like the boundaries of divinity. That men are men and women are women. Men serve a function, women serve a purpose. Like the idea that men serve a purpose is a desire that women allowed us to have because we're all alive. They feel sorry for us. You know, they're they're your mother. They're your sister. They're girls, right? Like of course they're gonna pity you for being born into a world where you think you have purpose, and the world will tell you, other men especially will tell you, no, you have purpose. This is your purpose. You were put on this world for this. You were put on this world for that. And then when you figure out eventually, when you get older, I wish I knew this like a lot sooner. Like I would have taken my head that was perpetually up my own ass, metaphorically speaking, of course, and like started changing, the things around me, started doing things more aggressively, be more assertive, like be more assured of myself. Like I learned that the only reason that I'm anything close to attractive is because a girl or girls desired it to be so. And the second that they don't want me or I do something that they, disapprove of is the second I stop, being attractive. I lose my hair. I get a growth stunt. I, possibly get injured, critically get injured, It's all because I serve a function for women, right? Whatever that function is, taking out the garbage, providing for the kids, protecting her, helping her with her groceries, whatever she wants, right? That is the function of a man. So what is my purpose? And the answer is simple. I don't have a purpose. My purpose is my function, right? Because the inevitability of it is, right? It's because we've confused ourselves at what life really is, right? We've taken pride into ourselves. We've taken arms against, the opposite gender to side with our own gender, despite the fact that genetics and evolution say otherwise. um, yeah, like we're figuring it out. We're all figuring it out. Like around the world right now, and I know I commented on this before, so this is my follow up. But around the world, there are protesting these illegal migrants, these Muslim migrants in specificity, right? Although you can by extension say the Sikhs, say the East Indians, the Hindus, Hindu migrants, get the fuck out, you fucking idol worshipping assholes. Your idols are so fucking big. Everybody keeps pointing it out. Even I'll point it out. What the fuck is wrong with you, man? Just put that shit inside an enclosure and stuff. Like it won't rain on it. It won't. You won't have to fucking clean it. Like you see these gigantic ass statues. Okay, nice. Are you gonna go up there and fucking clean it? Like you know what I mean? Yeah, you know for a fact that like after like a hardcore rainstorm or like a whatever, and then like they need to go up there and do something. Nah, nah. But like they're all having protests, all of them, all of them. Australia, the UK. The UK is gonna have one, and on the 13th, it's gonna be like really really big. So they're planning something. I don't know. Here in Canada, obviously not. Yeah, like, and they're the whole world is seeing like the knife attack on that young man in Germany. He was a paramedic too. That's sad, man. Like, can you imagine like the contrast of people that exist in this world, like a medical licensed doctor or paramedic versus some guy selling drugs and like has a knife on a train. And then he gets the fucking kitty gloves. Fuck, dude. Shout out to that guy though. Real talk. Even if you fucking slashed up your face and shit, you walking away like that from that like your fucking big boss. Straight up. Naked snake, man, like the fucking real deal big boss. Germany. Oh, no, that's where it happened actually in Germany. Um, where else? Where else? Where else? Yeah, like, and they're not having it anymore. Even here in Canada, like people are complaining about the Indians taking up all the jobs and being rude and like being sexually like aggressive towards the opposite gender. Like just taking a walk downtown reveals everything you need to know. Like there's never been, at least in my point of view, a larger separation of the genders than there has been this generation. Like this generation, you can go down the street. Like I can go to the mall. We probably have to go today, do some shit, and I'll just see the same, more of the same. Guys chilling with large groups of guys or just like by themselves. Girls more or less the same, and yeah, you'll have your couple here and there, and like married and those with kids, but they are the minority, the exception to the rule, not the rule in and of itself. So also, I only got like a minute left, but like I wanted to make this like a nice long ass video because it's like whatever. So apparently Destiny got caught with some like pedo ass shit, man. Fuck, dog. It is your destiny, to get that butt sex, to get that booty call from Bubba. Yes, in cell block, whatever. Your cell goes open. Ah, it's playtime. It's playtime. It's your destiny. Ah, dude. If hindsight was 2020, would you call yourself Destiny? Ah, dude. the butt sex, and like, yo, even these Sikhs over here in America, like, starting to figure out that, like, yo, dog, it's not for you here. You know, you can't like call for sympathy. You know, this and that. Like, I guarantee you, they're gonna like start pulling out the rainbow card, the gay card, and be like, hey, look. We can't go back to Punjab because we're just going man deep on each other. Ah, dude. And like, it actually might work in some of these states and stuff. They might say, "Hey, look, they can't go back. They're gonna get their turbans tied." All right, everybody, take care.